Communism, socialism, are they the same thing? If not, how? Why is capitalism different? Is there one type of capitalism? One type of socialism? Is communism always bad? Was Russia wrong? Is capitalism evil? Why is Denmark in this video?
Communism, socialism, capitalism, what's the difference? Nobody seems to know. I'm sick. Let's talk about it. This is gonna be dense. Alright, let's kick off while I'm doing this. The amount of times that I've seen people complain about socialism while describing communism, or insisting that socialistic democracy isn't a thing, or that capitalistic dictatorships don't exist, is absolutely insane. Nobody even seems to understand really what these are. So screw it, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. I don't want to do this. I gave myself a ulcer researching all this and trying to compact it so that we can explain it. So, what's the difference between communism, socialism, and capitalism? Let's start with the easy one. Communism is stupid as shit. It's the naive hippie of economic models. Real quick, how it started. Karl Marx was a German philosopher. Was he fucking German? Yeah, he was German. Karl Marx was a German philosopher and therapist from the 19th century who wrote the Communist Manifesto. And in it, he outlines communism's main goal, creating a society with no classes or government and no concept of ownership of basically anything. The belief being that if nobody has anything, everybody will have everything, and it will be a utopia. Adorable. Fun fact, utopianism only leads to dictators, historically, which is markedly less adorable. Fast forward to the early 20th century, Vladimir Lenin, a political operator, took Marx's ideas and then just kinda f***ed with them a little bit. Lenin's basic idea was the following. Bear with me, because my Russian accent is terrible, but I think he said something to the effect of, the peasants are too lazy and stupid to rebel, so I'm gonna do it for them. And just like that, boom! Single party rule, gulags, mass surveillance, secret police, yada yada. You probably see where this is going. From there, it hooked and spread. Stalin and his genocidal purges and engineered famine. Mao in the Great Leap Forward, which mostly seemed to just leap forward into mass starvation. Pol Pot in Cambodia in the killing fields. That's not me being hyperbolic, that's literally what historians call it. There is literally no example in all of history of communism that doesn't turn authoritarian very, very fast. But why? Because communism can't survive contact with human nature. Communism assumes that if you remove ownership, government, and social hierarchy, it also removes greed, ambition, selfishness, and power seeking. Which it does not, because duh, why would it? What it does do is create a government-sized power vacuum. And power vacuums tend to get filled. Usually by the greedy, ambitious people we were just talking about a second ago. And it snowballs quickly, which tends to happen when you have one point of entry, a communist government, that controls literally everything. Basically, communism just isn't usable because it assumes this society has more of an impact on human behavior than what it actually has. Humans are not ambitious and greedy because of markets or economics. Humans are ambitious and greedy because we are what evolutionary biologists would call dickheads. So that one's out. Communism's socialism must be a problem too, right? That's what they keep telling us. Affordable healthcare. The road to fascism? I don't know, probably. No, honestly, socialism really isn't that bad unless the government is just stupid or competitively corrupt. In that case, it can be bad, but I mean, we're capitalists and look at us. First of all, socialism is misbranded pretty frequently. People conflate it with communism, which it is not. The Third Reich in Germany claimed to be socialist. The official title of the Nazi Party was the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Despite the fact that they hated unions and Marxists, which is the opposite of socialism, it's kind of like putting a cruelty-free vegan label on food and then finding out that the food was actually a panda that had its ass kicked to death. Basically, it breaks down like this. Communists believe there shouldn't be a government or private ownership as a concept. Socialists believe there should be a government and degrees of private ownership, but also degrees of collective ownership of means of production and institutions that kind of safeguard the public, all that shit. It's a spectrum, it's not black and white. On one end, you have the Northern European countries like Denmark. They're democratic, have private property, free market practices, but they also have a robust social safety net and higher quality of life. And also, you can go to the hospital without bankrupting your entire family, so there's that. Sounds pretty good. They must have been lying about all of it, right? No, of course not. Are you new here? This is Countercult. Everything's sad. I just said it was a spectrum. On the other end, you have Venezuela. Try to buy a plane ticket to Venezuela and let me know how many warnings you have to click through before it actually lets you pay for the ticket. But it's also important to point out, Venezuela's socialism didn't fail because socialism fails. It failed because the entire country was ruled by despotic assholes that were stealing everything. That's kind of gonna go tits up regardless of what your economic model is. Socialism isn't synonymous with dictators any more than capitalism is. You have good examples of it, you have bad examples of it. It's not the model, it depends on who's running it. And let's be completely honest, the entire reason politicians in America want everybody to hate socialism so much is because certain socialist practices can lead to things like healthcare and housing and job training and shit. And they don't want you to have those things.
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state?
Alright, now let's talk about all the claims that capitalism is so goddamn great. Is capitalism better than communism? Yes, I think wishing wells are probably better than communism. Is it better than socialism? It depends what country is using it, what the culture is, who's in charge, are they corrupt? It's nuanced. Is capitalism the good one? Fuck no. This notion that capitalism is somehow always connected to democracy and republics is just patently and historically not true. For instance, Chile was a capitalistic dictatorship. Do me a favor, find your nearest Chilean and ask them their opinion of Augusto Pinochet and get back to me on how they feel about it and how he handled that little, let's call it a mishap.
On news of his death, celebrations broke out in Santiago. Hundreds of people cheered, waved flags, and sipped champagne.
Not to mention Russia's oligarchs, China's mega corporations, or America's severely bloated glut of billionaires that don't really seem to do a whole lot other than hoard money and keep it out of society. But they don't like you talking about that because that's not the problem with capitalism. The problem with capitalism and the issues we're seeing, it's the poor people and their food stamps and their Medicaid. Yeah, that's what's causing all this bullshit. I'm really getting off track here. Because here's how it breaks down. Capitalism is basically defined as an economic regulation model with an emphasis on private ownership of capital, wealth generation, and competitive markets. It's kind of the survival of the fittest economic model. Much like socialism, isn't really good or bad. It's just, it depends who's using it. Has there been good capitalism? Sure, ask the baby boomers. Remember when you could support an entire family on one income and you could get a house for 6 blueberries? I don't remember, but they do. But let's not pretend that capitalism hasn't been screwing the little guy since '08. And let's not also pretend that capitalism doesn't already have a pretty established screwed up history as it is. Look up what a robber baron is.
But they were also less admirably called robber barons for their anti-competitive practices an exploitative relationship with their employees.
Yeah, that was capitalism. That was very, very hardcore capitalism. That is the thing that everybody always screws up when they try to talk about this, because everybody always wants to pick a team and then want to say one is universally right and all the other ones are demonic communist spawns of Satan, which just really isn't the case. None of this is a moral issue. This one's really gonna piss people off. Socialists are not pestilence-worshipping spawns of Satan. Capitalists are not paragons of virtue. It's a tool. It depends how you use it. You can use gasoline to put in your car and get to work. You can also use gasoline to burn somebody's house down. That doesn't mean the gasoline is the problem. When was the last time you saw a cop tackle an arsonist and then arrest his matchbook? It's kind of like that. Anything too far in the extreme margins isn't gonna work that well. And that's always been the case. There's nothing new about that. Nor is socialist practices even uncommon in this country. America already does a lot of socialist shit. Firemen and cops being funded by taxes and available to everybody? Socialism. Social Security? Socialism. Medicaid and Medicare? Socialism. Hospitals having to take you even if you can't pay the bill? Socialism. And there's already been like a good bit of observation in this field. Really, the most proven consistent model is a hybrid of capitalism and socialism. Capitalism for growth and innovation, and socialism for stability and dignity. The only thing that is immutably true that a lot of people that talk about this shit actually do get right is that communism is fucking stupid. Oh my God, it's dumb. It's the dumbest shit ever. Like, that's not going to work. Why the fuck would that ever work? Why do you assume that if you remove all power and just kind of like spread shit out, however, that the most power-hungry assholes in the society aren't going to just go gunning for it and take it over? That's exactly what they do, because that's exactly what happens every single fucking time. Oh my God. I still feel so shitty. So there you go. In my quest to piss off probably everybody at this point, I hope we all can at least walk away from this with a little bit more knowledge about what these things are. I also kind of want to stop talking about it for this video because it's very annoying framing all this. I sort of want to drink some bleach right now. Hope you enjoyed the show. Communism stupid. The views expressed in this video are not representative of the views of Countercult. Fuck it. Yes, they are. Subscribe for more. Glad you stopped by. I'll see you next time.